Unfortunately, I have to drive to Connecticut. But there will be a little bit of a treat from me in this episode, plus an update on my 24 birds shawl.
Hello and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I'm Jen.
I'm Kathleen.
And Amanda is not here right now, but will insert herself here, perhaps.
She will insert herself later. She'll be giving us an update on her 24 birds.
Yeah.
And her spring break in California.
Yes.
It was so funny when she wrote last night and said she wouldn't be able to join us, during our slot today. She said, you can tell everyone I'll tell people about my spring break and you can tell them about yours. And I'm like, no more school-age children. No spring break for
There's
me.
no spring break for you.
No spring break.
There's spring break for me.
But hopefully a good fall break, which, yeah.
I know, your fall break sounds like it's going to be amazing.
It should be really fun. So, I got to actually book it, but we're underway.
And she also said she had some around town stuff too, which is good because I don't have a lot of around town stuff because I am zonked. But anyway, we're a podcast all about knitting and crocheting and things you can do with yarn and fiber and all kinds of fun stuff. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're a new viewer, welcome.
Thanks for
Look,
joining
I remembered.
us.
I remembered
Yes,
the whole
you did.
spiel.
You did all of it. You did all of it.
It's good. I had a full cup of coffee, which is necessary.
I've had a full cup of coffee, but I was telling Jen earlier as we were setting up, I'm really tired. I got up really early yesterday morning because of construction going on at my house, and then worked way many more hours than is usually recommended for humans. And then
because we're
getting ready for Wool Walk.
We're getting ready for Wool Walk. So we're filming this on the Tuesday before Wool Walk starts. Like it literally starts on Wednesday.
At this time tomorrow, we will be opening the doors for Wool Walk.
Yes.
For taping time. Yeah.
Taping time, which is. It's 10
a.m. It's 10 a.m.
So if you are watching this on Saturday, you still have a day, and you're local, you still have a day and a half-ish. It ends on Sunday.
Yep. We are open until 6 p.m. on Saturday, and then 11 to 4 on Sunday.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, hopefully you can come by and see us.
Yeah, come by and see us. And there are 20 other stores in New Jersey participating. Yes. It's a lot of fun. And, people have prizes. I'll talk about this in my finished subjects later. But
that's your finish up. This is my whip.
Maybe whip.
This is a whip for me.
Yeah, and also, so these are our gumballs that we use during Wool Walk. And if you spend $50 or more, you get to pick one from the blue-green bucket, and you unwrap it, and there's a little note inside that tells you what kind of prize you can pull. The orange, yellow, pink, the warm color gumballs are for people who spend $100 or more, and that's a prize for later.
Yes.
So,
we've done this, I think, every year for the Wool Walk.
I think so. And it's funny because I think I said last year, I don't know if we're going to have enough prizes to do it next year. We accumulate stuff.
Yeah.
We get
prizes. And
a lot of things.
Prizes are really good.
Some
I'm like, I
exactly.
forgot this treasure.
Yep, exactly.
So we have some fun stuff in store for you guys. So, but we just we have a day to line up these little balls.
And to get the store set up, which is what we're doing right after this. But the other fun thing I have to show you, and I will go up and show because it is so cute.
It's so cute. She's coming around. So we always have little stuff with purchase, including stuff that from the Wool Walk, but this is one from us.
That's right. So, I had a problem with this last time. I know, but also I had a really hard time getting the focal. There we go. So these are cute little travel scissors with a little Yarnia charm on them, and you will get these if you spend $60 or more.
And let me tell you, these suckers are sharp. I really like them.
They are. They're good. They're good scissors.
They're really good scissors.
Yeah. So we always come up with something every year that in addition to their stitch markers that you'll get. Do you have your stitch markers, or are they?
I do.
They might be on the table.
I have.
So every store.
I don't have ours.
You don't have ours.
Ours is in use. But these little Katrinkle stitch markers that they're color coded to the stores. Every store has a unique color, and they have a little state of New Jersey engraved on them. And
they're so cute. They really are. And I love that they switched it up this year. I mean, we do have there's like a sheep logo for the Wool Walk that has been done some years. But you know, it's nice to have traditions. It's also nice to change things up now and then.
Yeah, you can way you can have a collection. So you can get them. They are $3 on their own, but you get them. Are they?
If you spend 35 or more. If you
spend 35 or more, you get one free.
While supplies last. We
that's
got
the one kicker.
We got we probably have 350 altogether on hand, and there's a certain amount that you get just for participating in the Wool Walk. And then
as a store.
Exactly, as a store. Sorry. And but stores can order more if they want as well, and we do normally always order more. I don't know.
They're so cute.
I don't think I ordered that many last year, and we ran out really quickly.
Yeah.
So we are making up for that this year. We should have enough to see us through the Wool Walk and maybe even have some extras.
I always think they're so fun. I mean, I really like that. There's also a Katrinkle's collectible that does have the little sheepy on it.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Like a large coilless pin. Amanda can throw her picture of hers in there, which fits perfectly on her Delicue crossbody bag.
Yes.
And so you can hold all of the stitch markers.
It literally holds all of them.
Which is so cute.
Which is fun.
And
actually, I'm sure by the time this goes up, we will be sold out of the collectibles. I think we have 4 or 5 left right now.
Those are $10?
They are $10 on their own, and right now we're only selling them in combination with the passport as a bundle.
Yes.
If we have any remaining when the Wool Walk starts, we will sell them, separately.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of stores are running out by now, so hopefully if that was something that you wanted, you were able to put your hands on one. Every store got, I think, 40 of those. Yeah. So it is a limited edition thing. It's limited, it's collectible, and no one was able to order more of those. So it's not that people wanted to disappoint anyone. It's just, in order to really keep it collectible, there had to be some kind of limit.
Yeah, a little special something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. So the Wool Walk is 21 stores throughout the state of New Jersey, and it's from April 17th to the 21st. I almost put the warm colors in the pool bucket. Cats and dogs all together. It's crazy. But it's super fun, and there's lots of discounts at every store.
Yeah.
So
check out our Instagram. I feel like we have not been as active as we sometimes or usually are on Instagram lately, but we did a nice little rundown of all of our Wool Walk things recently.
Good details.
Every day, if you look, for the last few days, you'll see something special that we're doing for Wool Walk.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of what else is around town. Well, I'll tell you about my spring break because I'm exhausted. We went to Universal and Disney in Florida.
So fun.
Which was super fun. It was our first time at Universal. Not the first time at Disney, but the first time for Ollie remembering Disney.
He was really
last time he was 3.
Oh yeah.
And Max remembers his times at Disney, but everybody had a really great time. We walked 60 miles.
That's so insane.
Over the course of 7 days. It was nuts.
It is a lot of walking, but
it's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Which, it was fine. And the weather was pretty great. There was one pretty rainy day that we did a bunch of stuff in the morning and then went back to the hotel and then went back in the evening. So we missed most of the rain, which was great.
It is good to have that kind of downtime day a little bit too when you're going every day.
We were exhausted.
Yeah.
I slept for 4 hours in the middle of the day, and I never nap. I don't nap well.
No.
But the boys had a really good time. It was funny because we saw our friends, actually Joanna.
Yep, I talked to Joanna yesterday.
Here.
Yep. She is our shipping maven.
We overlapped with them at Universal and at Disney, which was super fun, and we went through Epcot together. And
that is nice. We had done that too.
Dinner. It was so fun. And then
with other friends when Haley was little.
Hung out at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yeah. I want to go back.
I know. It was really fun. If only the creator wasn't such a nightmare.
I know.
But it was funny because I was like, all right, so here's the deal. We're going to add up how much we spent on, how much money we gave her. Like, really, it's Warner Brothers, but like, okay,
Yeah.
the image we gave her, and then we're gonna make the equivalent donation to an LGBTQ plus organization. Because I was like, we got to counteract.
That's a nice idea.
This, but in the meantime, like Ollie got chosen for a wand at Ollivander's.
Yay.
On the second time around, because God help me, that kid was like, I'm gonna go until I get picked, and I was like, oh Lord, we're here forever.
And I hope you can definitely give Amanda that picture to put in.
Oh, I will. Like, I got some really great pictures that we're gonna frame because it just looks like, you know, the lighting is like,
And I should look and find the one when Haley
got picked.
And Haley, we had planned a vacation right when it was supposed to open, and they were delayed, so it wasn't opened yet.
Oh no.
It was so sad. It was like spring break. I don't know, however many, 10, 12 years ago. When did it open?
I was going to say, I think 10 years ago.
So, yeah, we were supposed to be there. There were some signs around, you know, Muggles, something is coming soon. It's like,
it's supposed to be here now.
Yeah, it was supposed to be here now. I mean, we probably did more Disney stuff on that vacation than we had originally planned. Yeah. And also, that was back in the days when you didn't have to pre-book everything. Oh my goodness, from what I hear now, it's just so crazy. Like, you have to decide your entire schedule minute by minute. Before.
Yes, they've kind of pulled back a little bit on that in terms of, like, using Genie Plus, which is just, you know, it's a bit of a money grab. It's basically, if you've ever been to Disney in, like, the Fast Pass eras, you just have to, they monetized it. But Jonathan got pretty good at doing that. So, like, it was like you had to book stuff the morning of, and then
okay, that's a little bit good.
You still have to book, like, if you want, like, dining.
Yeah, I mean, I think
sit down dining.
That's always been true.
Dining,
yeah,
you have to book that early. Although I have to say, our first trip to Disney, I planned, like 5 weeks out, and I had really good luck just picking up random cancellations.
There's always that. It's like one of those things. As you get closer, people do have plans change or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, you can. Yeah, it's not like have no hope.
If you have flexibility.
Yeah. So after we went, you know, had this sad vacation that was supposed to be the beginning of the Wizarding World, we went the next spring break as well, and did all of the Harry Potter stuff and everything. And of course, you know, Haley, being a little Potterhead, wanted to, you know, get the wand and everything, and it took quite a few tries, but she did eventually get there. Yeah. So I will always remember that.
I was impressed that it only took us 2 tries. We literally, like, so the wand experience at Ollivander's is basically like you go into Ollivander's and they bring you into, you can go into the regular shop and just purchase something, right? Or they bring you into this little room, and like one of the Ollivander's wand experts comes and looks, and then like the wand chooses the wizard. So one kid gets picked for the wand to choose the wizard and do a little bit of magic and whatnot. The first time we went through, we were riding from park to park on the Hogwarts Express, which is like a steam train.
Which didn't exist the last time we were there.
It was pretty cool.
I want to go back.
It was pretty cool.
I'm telling you.
It was really nice. And we were staying on site, so we had Express Pass for Universal, which is basically cup of wine. Which highly recommend staying at one of the Universal hotels that offers that for free, because, along with your thing, because you save a ton of money doing that. So I spotted these kids on the ride that were in full regalia. I am talking button-down shirt in the 90-degree Florida weather, tie, scarf, robe, everything, the whole shebang. And I was like, these kids are going to Ollivander's, and there ain't no way Ollie's getting picked if these kids
if they're there. Yeah,
right behind us. So of course one of those kids got picked. It was very cute. Like, they had the one, and Ollie was just like, he held it together, which was
good,
not a guarantee.
Yeah.
He held it together and was like, we're going right through. Like, they dump you out into the wand shop, and he's like, out the door, right back into line.
Back again, yeah.
And I was like, all right, if you don't get picked again, we are not spending all day going through this line. I'm like, we can do it a couple of times. And I think the cast member overheard us. And there was a little note passed to another cast member.
Nice.
And then Ollie was picked. And it was like, he was over the moon.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And I told the little girl next to us, who was in full Ravenclaw regalia, with a glitter backpack, which I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, I told her mom, I was like, we went through twice. And she was like, oh, okay, good. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like,
yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up after once.
Don't give up.
Yeah. While Jean and Haley were doing other rides, I went and figured out exactly where Haley needed to stand.
Yeah.
And on her second try, she was next to the person that was picked. And eventually it was like, all right, stand right here.
Yeah.
And also she had full Gryffindor regalia. We did not bring it with us to Florida.
Ollie was like, he's like, if I don't get picked the second time, we're going to get the robe. And I'm like, I am not paying $100 for that robe. Or like $170 for that robe. I'm like, no. Like, you are wearing your Slytherin shirt. You're fine. You're about the right age. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah. We'll just, whatever. So it was a really great experience. I have a picture, too, they have a yarn shop in, I think it was in Diagon Alley.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
I didn't know
with
that.
automatic knitting needles.
Yes.
Going.
Oh, how fun.
Flat straight.
Oh, my goodness.
But, like, what else?
Yeah.
So I have a picture there that I'm going to send Amanda to throw in here. But we had a really good time. It was really fun.
That's so fun. Do you remember what the name of the shop is?
No, I don't.
I'm sorry. I don't even know why I asked that. But it just sounds so fun.
It was something cute. And I'm pretty sure it was in they have two areas, Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade. Mm-hmm. And we were back and forth between both. That was my favorite part of Universal Parks. Ollie's favorite part of Universal Parks was Velocicoaster.
Uh-huh.
And Max's favorite part was also Velocicoaster.
Mm-hmm.
But
do they still have the Raptor ride where you just like go around above the park, sort of? Is that still a thing,
yes, but there's a height limit.
A maximum height limit?
A maximum height limit. It's for littles.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I would go on that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I am too tall. But at Disney, we loved Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. That was awesome. We wrote it twice with 2 different songs. That was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And what was the other? Oh, and we did all the Star Wars stuff, which was so awesome. I'll also throw in, there's a couple of pictures that one of the photographers captured when we were at Star Wars, where I was like, take a picture of us. Mm-hmm. And then I totally got surprised by one of the stormtroopers. And like, literally screamed at the top of my voice. Because I was like, ah! It was like a total jump scare. It was hilarious.
That sounds great.
Also, the blue milk was gross. So was the green milk. The green milk was even grosser. But otherwise, I really loved the Star Wars land too. That
sounds so
it
fun.
was really cool. It was very immersive. Like, that's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
But we walked a lot. It's exhausting. Still recovering.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's funny, Jonathan was like, oh, it's a nice, easy week to come back to. And I was like, speak for yourself.
Not for us.
I was like, I'm going to be back on my feet.
Yeah.
Because we'll walk.
Yeah.
So.
Hi, guys. Amanda, because I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. And let me tell you a little bit about our spring break, since you heard about Jen's. And you'll hear about Kathleen's fall break in the fall. But let me tell you a little bit about what we did. Chad and I took all the kids to San Francisco to see family and friends. And let's see, what did we do while we were there? We, of course, toured around town, saw the Golden Gate Bridge. I'll put some pictures in here. 2 other grown-ups went with us. Our au pair went with us. And so did Beth, my oldest daughter. So they got a day off themselves too. Actually, they got a couple days off if they wanted to go. But Saturday they came around with us when we went to the Golden Gate Bridge and to Ghirardelli's and had huge chocolate ice cream sundaes and banana splits and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I don't think I ordered anything. I just ate everybody else's leftovers because there was going to be more than those kids could eat. But Beth, on her day off, went to Muir Woods. Chad's brother gave her some good tips about where to start and how to drop into the back of Muir Woods and then walk all the way through. So she came back with some amazing photos of the redwood forests there and all the trail hiking. It actually was snowing, which was more like sleeting, while she was up there. And there were, so she stayed in like a little shed for a little bit, and there were some hummingbirds that were coming up to hummingbird feeders while she was there. So that was so lovely. We went to the California Museum of the Sciences, where they had a big white alligator, albino alligator, and the kids loved the aquarium. They had a butterfly and birds, like, I guess that's not an aviary, right? But it was mostly butterflies, butterfly garden, essentially a huge one. So we got to go up that and see all sorts of like bugs. They had some little carpenter ants in a house, and spiders, which not everybody was thrilled with. And then Chad and I got a day away as well. So we went up to Acme Wines, which I think I mentioned before, maybe about a month ago. I'm part of a wine club with Acme Wines, and they send 3 bottles a month, which I think is a great amount. It's enough to finish or stash for later, and not like so much that you feel like you get behind. And if you find something you love, they can send you a little, they have a little allocation set aside for club members, so you can always order a few more bottles if there's something you love. And Liz was so much fun. We had such a great time, enjoying chatting with her, and she had an amazing selection. So we're also getting a little shipment we couldn't leave without, getting a little bit more of some of the types we tried. And what I love about Acme is it's not a single vineyard. It's not like owned by a vineyard, but they are right there in St. Helena. So they know the locals. They know the vineyards. They know who's making the wine. They know who goes from one label to another, who started training at one label and then took what they learned there and started their own label. So it was so awesome to hear those stories, and they definitely have the insights as to like who's making awesome bottles at great prices, I have to say. So on that note, Liz is so sweet that she gave our podcast viewers, they're giving our podcast viewers a coupon for 10% off. Yay! So it's right down here, Knitters for Wine. So that is going to be good for 3 months. So that's until it's April now, so May, June, probably about till the beginning of July. That's good for 3 months. So if you enjoy wines, would like to try something maybe that's a little bit smaller batch, especially from the California region, but they do have things from all over the world, try it out. You get a little discount. And that was our spring break.
Anything else going on around town?
Woolwalk is definitely all that's on my
Woolwalk
mind.
is all we can think about. Meanwhile, like, by the time you see this, it's almost over. But
yeah, exactly. But we got to get there first.
We got to get there first. So let's talk a little bit, I guess, about our finished objects.
Yes. How about, do you want to talk about what you're wearing?
Yes, I'll talk about what I'm wearing. I am wearing a Love Note. This is done in, it's a Ba La Jolla yarn that almost exactly matches, is it mermaid unicorn something or other from Knitted Wit?
Yeah.
Mohair. And so I did this a couple of years ago. This was for a sweater class that, when we were still doing sweater classes in person, so pre-pandemic, when we shifted to Zoom, my sweater classes being Zoom, which is easier because I don't have to wake up as early.
And I think, now we have Seisha and Kim also doing Zoom, sweater and vest classes and things. I think there's something really nice about doing that longer class, like from the comfort of your home.
From the comfort of your home, and also like being able to go back and watch a recording.
Yeah.
Right? If you're like, I missed it, or I'm behind, or what have you.
Yeah, and also generally the people that take a sweater class are more proficient knitters. They're learning some new techniques, but it's not like they just started, 2 months ago. So.
Yeah, there's a little bit less of what did I do here?
Exactly.
Which
more
is,
advice on fit and all of that.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
Stuff.
More different techniques.
How do I customize and all?
So let me stand up. So this is my love note. It's cropped and a
So
little
cute.
high-low, and I did 3/4 sleeves with an I-cord. Did I do the I-cord? No, I did the ribbing. And I think I did another love note with I-cord bind off instead. But I really like it. This is also like a perfect spring sweater.
Yes.
Because it's warm out, but there's still a little chill in the air. So like it's nice to wear over like a dress like this.
Yeah.
And Love Note is by PetiteKnit. They always have such thoughtful patterns. Really well written. I love, one of the things about the Love Note is you start with a provisional cast on.
Yes. So
and then
smart.
you work down, and then you come back and do the neck to suit you, which I really love that because it's so, it can be really frustrating if you have a wide neck something or other that the neck turns out too wide and it's trickier to fix. So this is a really good solution for them.
Yeah, by leaving it to be like the last thing you do, the rest of your sweater is done and you can really customize your fit knowing what the rest of your garment looks like.
Exactly.
Super smart.
Literally try it on.
I love that.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, maybe you should do another Love Note sweater class because it's been a while. And
it is kind of
for the
evergreen. I feel
summer.
like it's still something that's really popular.
Yeah.
Or ranunculus. So though the fact that this, or you could do ranunculus with the Love Note start, basically the provisional.
I think that might actually work really well for the ranunculus. The thing about the ranunculus
I've done
makes
that.
me
That's
a little nuts is the sizing. There's not a lot of information about sizing.
Even in the updated pattern.
Yeah. I mean, it's more so than when it started.
Yeah.
I gotta take another look at it. I haven't looked at it in a little bit.
I was lucky. I made it when I made the ranunculus when there was only one size, and I just was like, I'm like, yeah, that'll fit, and
it'll be fine.
And I did exactly, and I did, and it was, and it actually, it's it's kind of, it definitely was more fitted on me than a lot of people, but I was fine with the way it fit, and so I made 3 all from the original pattern. I don't think I probably have downloaded the updated version, but I don't think I've actually used it yet.
Looked at it. Like, I have it, except for the pattern for a while, and I've got the update. I gotta take another look at it and like read through and see, because that is a good idea. Yeah. So this is my only finished object.
I know, it was funny when I was estimating, how long we would be taping. I'm like, well, Jen has not had a lot of time for knitting. She's been,
Nope.
So
I did bring knitting with me. I did not do a lot. I did it on the airplane. And that was it. And then everything else, I was like, I'm gonna just pass out. That's cool.
Different kinds of vacations, right? Some vacations you get a lot of knitting done, others you don't.
Others you're like, oh my god, my feet are killing me.
It's like, don't make me focus on anything.
Right.
All my focus is gone.
Right. How about you, finished objects?
So I am wearing actually a refinished object.
Nice.
Because I have previously shown my Tegna, which is by Caitlin Hunter, and I finished it actually 11 months ago. I remember. Remember, I was joking that my sleeves were coronation sleeves because I made them during the coronation of King Charles, and it was one of those things. A fingering weight sweater in my size is a lot of knitting.
That's a lot of knitting.
Takes a lot of time, and I just wanted it to be done. And it's funny because I'm not usually like that. Usually I will persist and just be like,
no,
I want to be happy with it. I'm gonna, I always tell myself, you're gonna wear this for a long time. Take the time, do it right. But literally it was May, and so I was running out of time to wear it last year. I think that was part of it. And so the sleeves basically hit at the bend in my elbow. It was, they were awkward. They were not comfortable.
Yeah.
It made the sweater, not really cool enough for a warm day, not really warm enough for a cool day.
Yeah.
It kind of didn't really work. So finally, here we are in April, and I finished these, I don't know, like last week or something. So one night, I've kind of had the opposite of cast-on-itis lately. I've had cast-on paralysis.
You're like, what am I gonna do?
Exactly. Because also some of the things that I've started, I've decided to abandon.
Yeah.
But I've not really, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't have my knitting mojo right now, but I've been. Usually I have like a whole line of things like, all right, and next I'm doing this, and next I'm doing that. I have these goals.
And you're a good planner with that. Like
it's more like
I fly by the seat of my pants.
For me, it's more like I have my whole queue and everything, and when I'm getting close to wrapping up a project, I'm like, all right, what am I going to do next? Because I want to make sure I have my yarn. I want to go ahead and swatch while I'm still working on the other project, so I don't have to wait for my swatch to dry to cast on and all of that. But I don't know. I started a shawl that I decided I wasn't happy with, and so lately I've been like redoing things. That's what I've been doing. We did get in yarn for a sweater, but it's a fall sweater, so I don't know if I really want to do it now.
I mean, there's an argument to say, like, to work on the fall sweaters now.
Do it now,
so
and it's ready for the
ready
fall.
to wear.
But also,
you want to wear it as soon as it's off the needle.
I usually always want to wear things as soon as they're off the needles.
Same.
Same. Yeah. So we'll see. So anyway, I ripped out my ribbing that I had done, and I did not even steam the yarn at all. I ripped it out and reknit it. I think that was a little bit of a mistake. I did reblock the sleeves the other day, so they look a little bit better, but the stitches are not as even as they could be because the yarn was a little crinkly.
So you reblocked it with steam, or you reblocked it soaked up?
I wet it. I wet blocked it.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I had steamed the yarn though before, which I could have done. Like I was being lazy. I didn't want to go up to the third floor to use the iron.
I always. I'm terrible where I never, unless it's super crinkly, because it's like.
And it was.
I don't want to wind it back up again. I'm like, I'll just wind it into a ball.
Yeah. So anyway, they're okay. They're fine. I'm not redoing them again.
No, that's the kind of thing where I feel like you block it like one or two more times and it's
or just like wear it and wash it. Like just don't even.
Right?
I'm like blocking it by wearing it to some degree.
Yes.
So so this is the Tegna by Caitlin Hunter in Tosh Sock in Citrus, one of my favorite colors of Tosh Sock.
Such a pretty color.
It's funny, I really do only use this color in the sock. We could get it in other things too.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Gigi colors in DK.
Those are pretty.
They are really pretty too.
Yeah,
but I love like the yellow-orange vibe of this.
Yeah, the variegation on this is really pretty.
It's so pretty.
It is variegated, but it's not so variegated that it's like dark light.
Yeah, it's like shading kind of. It's
Yeah, it's just visually interesting.
So anyway, I'm really happy with this, and it is, it's varying between the 50s and 70s lately. So I feel like I should get a couple of good wears in with this.
Oh yeah,
and then I'm going to have it as a good transitional piece from now on.
That's the same thing. It's like a good transitional transitional sweater, like that weird weather where you're like, it's going to be hot later, but like right now it's 40 degrees.
And also just like there's still now people are putting on air conditioning already and everything, so it's like, but with the fingering weight, it's light enough that unless it's a really really hot day, I'm fine.
Light and airy.
Yeah,
pretty.
So that is my refinished object, and actually
that is your other object.
So yes, this I have spent a lot of time the last couple of nights winding these balls. It is amazing how long they can take. I don't know. They're just also
I'm working through that stack.
Printed all little slips, cut them out, sorted them by color.
Yeah, there's a lot of prep work.
There's
going
a lot
into
of prep
just
work.
winding the ball.
But yeah, I got a few of those done. Thank you, Jen. She's doing the rest of the later ones right now, and then these we'll probably add some more. If we have a little downtime during Wool Walk, we have the stack of them there. We wind as we go.
Yeah.
But part of it, these are for 3 different kinds of prizes, so we kind of need to be sure that the proportions are right.
That we have like the same amount, right? Yeah. So if you get like prize A bucket,
that
we actually have plenty of
prize A choices. And actually, one thing I found when I was looking at my stuff from last year, I did a handful, like 10 pick any prize.
Oh,
so scattered throughout. Not only is it, and our categories are, it's bags and notions or bags and trinkets, yarn, because we get a lot of yarn. Not going to say donation, things to try from vendors, and sometimes
whether we get it, whether we end up buying it or not.
Sometimes they send us things that we know we don't have any interest in, so it's like, some things we try out, other things we look at, but maybe you have an interest, exactly,
or stuff that we do like that it's just
it's like one extra ball in a color that we don't carry or something. So and then the last is patterns, books, and magazines. And this was partly why I thought we might not really be able to do gumballs this year, because traditionally magazines have been a big part of it. Like we've had back issues of Vogue Knitting, back issues of Noro. So many magazines have closed down that there's just not, we don't have back issues anymore because most everything that exists magazine wise is electronic. So anyway, but we had a lot of patterns and things. So we put patterns and we got a few book donations from different companies. So there's a nice variety.
There's a nice variety, and it's always fun. I like being able to choose.
I feel like that is so important. I think and I don't know, whatever. It's like a prize is still a prize. It's always nice to, if you win something.
Free stuff is free stuff, yo.
But at the same time, having been the person that's won things that like you absolutely can't use, it's kind of sad.
Like
it's
a crocheter, and you're like, here's some knitting needles. You're like, I don't knit.
Yeah, exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Or vice versa, you know? Like, there's just a little level of like choice in there that's really nice. I think.
And we actually are doing the same thing with our door prizes as well.
Yes.
So
you should talk about our door prizes.
Showing Jen our little selection, something I spent some time on yesterday. We have 3 door prizes per day. It's a 5-day event. We from our vendors got enough things to do 15 different prizes.
Yep.
And we're gonna have an alarm go off in the store at a random time, different random times each day. And whichever wool walker is at the register at that time wins their choice of a prize. So if you happen to be here on Wednesday and are the first person to win, we've got 2 sets of like knitting needles. We've got a couple of sweater kit and a cowl kit. The cowl kit from Rowan is cashmere. Ooh. The value is over $200. We've just got a really nice selection of prizes. Yeah. And again, we always try to work in that aspect of, pick your prize, because I love it when you get something that really is gonna be special and fun and useful to you. Yeah. And as opposed to something that you're like, oh, I want a prize and I'm giving it to my friend. Yeah. Because I don't crochet or knit or whatever. So I do have one other finished object, and weirdly,
we got distracted,
as we do. Weirdly, it is another refinish object.
Ooh.
So did I bring my hitchhiker last time? I don't remember if I brought it or not. I talked about it.
I don't think you brought. I think it was a whip. Was it?
Oh, had I already started this?
Maybe.
I didn't look at my.
But I saw you after, so I don't know. Maybe that was when I saw you after.
I think I did this in like a week.
We can't remember these things.
We don't know. 2 weeks ago was a long time.
You guys probably have a lot better memory retention than we do at this point.
So I wanted a travel project because we went to see Haley in a dance show. That's right. So maybe
maybe that was in Thursday class though, where I saw you after you started it.
Maybe. Anyway, I had this. I had a hitchhiker made out of LRA Cashmerino Sport Speckle,
which is such a pretty yarn.
Such a pretty yarn. I loved the pattern. I loved the yarn feel and color. I loved it in garter stitch. I loved the squish and everything. What I didn't love, and I now really have realized for myself, is I don't like very wide, very shallow shawls. I don't wear them. When I put them on, I take them off within 5 minutes. Yeah. It's not a fit that I like. Yeah. So I frogged that entire thing. This I also did not steam or block, but it was knitted a much looser gauge, so it didn't really retain. And it's such a springy yarn. Yeah. It did not retain any of the kinking from having already been worked. But now I have, this is Fluff. That's right. We definitely did talk about it because this was a pattern that Jen found. I was actually we were trying to do the math, or I was suggesting we just do the math and figure out what to do. And Jen's like, I think there's a pattern for that.
You're like, we could absolutely do that.
We could do the math.
But first, let me look.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have to do math. You had one. So, now this is Fluff, which is exactly what I'm looking for. It's like a little, it's a perfect, like, springy kind of shawl and look, it even works with this because it's got that little touch of orange.
Absolutely works with that.
If I had a jean jacket, like a denim jean jacket on.
Yes, that would be so cute.
Perfect little fit, right? I really like this. It was super easy, super simple, and it was done in no time. And now I will wear it. Now it is an object that I will wear, and not just something that gets pushed to the bottom of the pile in my closet.
I think that's important to recognize, like, what are you going to wear, and what shawl shapes do you wear or not? Like, what sweater shapes do you wear or not? Like, how shapes, like, what
actually, I now have realized, like, I've stopped making cowls entirely because I never, ever, ever wear them. So I will go and meanwhile, I have like 20 hats, and I do wear those. Like,
Yeah.
I rotate my hats. Hats in the winter, I love a hat. I just, also, because my hair flies in my face, the
keeps
hat
it
kind of keeps it tamed.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps it, like, a little bit under control.
It's funny. I love making hats. I tend not to wear them.
Uh-huh.
And I have a bunch.
And you make a lot of hats for other people,
I make
too.
a lot of hats for other people,
Yeah.
but like I don't know why. I just don't. I tend not to wear hats.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and forth on shawls. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely like a sweater knitter.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like a cowl though.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a
Do
cowl.
you wear
like,
them?
And
Do you
I
find
do
that you
wear
wear
the
them?
cowls because
Yeah.
if like I'm cold, I'm much more likely to pick up a cowl because I'm also less likely to get it like caught in the car door.
Uh-huh. And I pick up shawls. I have quite the stack
Yeah.
of shawls, and those I do grab. Like, if it's
Yeah.
not quite cold enough for a sweater, or just, you know, whatever other top I'm wearing, just
Yeah.
that little bit of extra warmth.
And also like a pop
So I
of
think
color.
that's a really good tip, though. Like, to really think about what you actually like and wear, and like
Yeah.
focus your
I
next cast on something that, if you're a selfish knitter, as I am.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like I really like making hats, even though I don't wear them. But luckily, my husband's bald,
Mhm.
so he does.
And
wear
Ollie and Max will wear hats too, right?
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
I did not realize that.
They will never, ever, ever wear a hat. They are routinely like, I have a hood. Ollie literally said to me when I was like, put a hat on, it's sunny out. And he goes, I have hair. Why do I need a hat?
I have hair.
And I'm like,
Because it's not quite the same,
okay.
honey.
I'm like, that doesn't provide shade, but
Yeah.
sure. No, they will not wear a hat. Max
Interesting.
actually, I take that back. Max will occasionally wear a hat in the winter when he's biking.
Uh-huh.
Because he
Yeah.
did request a hat
Mm-hmm.
to wear underneath his helmet
Uh-huh.
because his ears were cold.
Uh-huh. That's weird.
Because he couldn't put his hood up. Otherwise, like if he's just walking around,
Mm-hmm.
hood up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I can see that. Also, you guys all have a lot of hair, which
We have a
actually
lot of
does
hair.
provide insulation. My
Except for
family is
Jonathan.
the same, except
Yeah.
for Jonathan. Exactly.
yeah, except for
But-
Jonathan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and Max is like all hair.
Mhm.
His hair is so long, and it's just all hair.
Mhm.
He's all hair. And Ollie's insistence that the hair provides sun and warmth. Whatever. I don't argue. Just accept it.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that, as long as they're not like going out in weather where you can get frostbite, just go.
And
with the
even
flow.
then, I'm like, wow,
Pick
did you
your
learn your
battles.
lesson?
Just try not to lose any digits.
Right. I'm like, do you really want to go to the hospital? Maybe put something on.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to fight that teenager battle of like, you're wearing shorts and Crocs in 30-degree weather. Well, you have socks on. Good job.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely with teenagers, worth picking the battles.
Yeah.
You gotta keep those chips for the time when you really need them.
yeah.
Right.
I feel like it was worse in middle school because he also didn't have a long walk to school, so it was more
Uh-huh.
like, I'm going out in a t-shirt. I'm
That's
like,
true,
That's
yeah.
dumb, but all
More
right.
of a walk to the high school. Yeah.
Bodily autonomy. You're gonna freeze your little tuchus off. Sorry, dude.
Maybe take better care of that tuchus.
Right. And also, to be fair, like for a long time when when Max was first in elementary school, I was like, wear your coat. Why are you not wearing your coat? And then I set foot in the elementary school and I realized it was 95 degrees. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, never mind. You're never going to wear long sleeves because it is so hot inside.
Yeah.
So I'm like, old school, old boiler. That's what you get.
Yeah, not a lot of temperature control. It's either heat or not heat.
Yeah,
right?
you're either hot or you're freezing,
Yeah.
depending on the room.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other finished objects?
I do not. I have these two, and
Nice.
I'm happy to have them.
Yeah, you're like, good luck to
Oh,
you.
and this
And that.
2.5.
Yeah. I was
So
going to
much
say,
fun.
we'll have more next time, but I probably will have a finished object.
I may have a finished object next time, and I don't know. I'm like mentally, I've been so wrapped up in wool walk preparation,
Yeah.
and other stuff that's going on that like I was saying, cast on paralysis is like I haven't had too many things, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about this during whips. But yeah, they're the knitting flow will come back.
It always does. I mean, I feel like it's the hard thing when you're having, like, you have a busy time of year. Like, there's only so much brain space for...
Exactly.
And sometimes you just need, like,
Yeah.
a chill project. Like, the shawl, right? Where you're like,
oh,
it's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
nice, relaxing garter.
I don't know if I worked on this at all. I think I did only because I was at my computer till like 10:30 last night, and then I wound some gumballs.
You want some gumballs.
So I don't think I actually did knit at all yesterday, which is very unusual for me. I usually knit at least an hour a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
same.
So we should, and I think once Wool Walk gets started, I probably will at night. It's just like part of decompression.
Yeah, to recover. It's like a recovery knitting.
Yeah.
So
how about what whips do you have with you?
I was going to say, what whips do you have with you? Because I was looking at what you're doing.
Okay, all right. I will talk about my whip.
All right, talk about your whip.
So, and actually, I'm close to the middle. I should put this on. I should stick some stitch stoppers on here.
I love the colors.
Isn't this so fun?
That's so pretty.
So, kind of in the vein, not quite as bad as redoing these two projects, but after I decided not to do the opus, after I was just like, nope, I'm not really feeling like the overall mosaic fingering weight right now. I looked at my queue and I saw what else I had in there, and when I put things in my queue, here we go. This happened last time too. It's like I turned to talk. Really bad right now. Really
this
bad.
Week. It's so bad. At first I was like, did Ollie kind of cold? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, wait, he just didn't take Clarendon.
Yeah, I know. I actually
need to set an
need
alarm.
to talk to
I
my
need to set the Ollie alarm for Clarendon, like the Kathleen Clarendon alarm
Yeah,
that everyone in the store
12:05.
knows.
12:05. Though my doctor told me to stop taking it, so I need to talk to her about what. Knock on
Another
wood.
option.
Knock on wood. I have been hanging in there so far, but it is definitely that's what's going on in my throat right now.
Yeah.
So I look through my queue, and when I find a pattern that I like, and sometimes it's pattern first, sometimes it's yarn first, you know, like we've talked about before. And I think with this yarn, I did have the yarn, and then I found a pattern that I thought worked with it.
Yeah.
So these are both yarns that one was from a trunk show that we had
So pretty.
probably 5 years ago, because it was in our old store, and it really was. It was a long, long time ago. This is from RhythmKnits. I think she is still dying, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think so. If so, we'll link below.
I know I follow her on Instagram still, and I believe she was in graduate school.
Yes, she was doing a lot.
Yeah. She was posting on a lot of Sundays, like Self-Care Sunday and things like that.
Yeah.
I cannot remember her name right now.
Me
She's
either. I'll
super
look it up
sweet.
while you're talking.
And I loved this color. It is called Amazonia, I believe. And another fingering weight that we had that I thought would look great with it is birch leaves from Ancient Arts, which we also kind of have cycled out of as one of our, hand dyers that we carry on a regular basis. But, things cycle in and off. And the thing that this is kind of an unusual, unusual for like a frilly shawl, but I thought it would be really fun.
I think it's really cool.
So
she is still dying.
right.
Yvonne Goodwin?
Yvonne, that's it.
Yes.
Yes. So definitely check out, does she sell on Etsy or have a website?
She is on Etsy.
Cool. So RhythmKnits is the name of her yarn company. And I found the Partly Sunny pattern from Jen Weissman, who is
I love Jen Weissman patterns.
a friend of Yarnia and a local designer in Glen Ridge, the next town over, and just an absolute sweetheart who
She's a doll.
writes fabulous patterns for really beautiful objects. So this is, this was kind of what I needed at the time that I started it. A lot of it is pretty mindless because it's garter. The whole body of the shawl is garter, and then, which I'm doing in the multi, and then the lace border is going to be in this really bright, kind of crazy color that picks up perfectly from it. It really does. It's, I loved this, but I didn't know what to do with it. And then when I was looking at those together, I'm like, they'll play really nicely together. So the interesting thing about Partly Sunny is that you start with the full width of the shawl.
Oh, cool.
And then you decrease. So you really can't see. It gets faster as it goes along. But believe me, in the beginning, it feels like so.
You're like, that's a long first row.
Well, it was funny because after I abandoned the other shawl project because it was not what I felt like I could focus on at the time. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this was a start with the most and decrease. But I really decided I wanted this, and like as we're coming into warmer weather, hopefully I will finish this in time to wear it a little bit before it gets too hot for shawls.
Yeah.
So I figured it was worth sticking with.
Well, and the nice thing with shawls is when you enter over air-conditioned space.
Exactly. It's good to like have in your bag if you just need that extra layer. So it's kind of hard to see, but the maximum number of stitches is on the outside. That's what's making the curve, and then you decrease. I could go up there. I don't think you're still not really going to see it, but you make these paired stitches, and because it's garter, you don't have to do a wrap. You're not really doing a wrap. You're not doing a German short row, but you do a yarn over and then knit, and on the return when you come back, you actually drop the yarn overs.
Oh, nice!
And then you decrease after you move your marker at the end of every round. You're just doing short rows, eliminating a stitch every time on each side.
Nice.
So, so I should weigh my yarn. That'll tell me how far it's actually squished down a lot. Look at it. Don't you think? I may be halfway through.
I would say halfway through.
I don't know. So I hope I'm not. And my gauge looks good. I don't think it looks too loose.
I don't think it looks too loose. I think it looks nice. It looks like a good shawl gauge.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about that. And this shawl does have a picot edge, but I saw in Ravelry, and I think I favored it a couple of projects where people just did, like a straight garter border of back with their main color, which I think I'm going to do too, because I feel like this is more coordinates.
I was going to say, it's a little visually, it might be a little visually along
out of
to
sync
have the
or something.
picot.
Yeah. I just feel like it's going to make it. Picot is really pretty, and I love it with the combination, the blue and white here.
Yeah,
I think it looks lovely.
Colors in a
exactly.
picot,
I think with these kind of harsh colors, something a little more tailored is going to work better. So anyway, and somebody's already tried it for me. So I saw it, and I know I'm like, I like what she did, they did,
what they said.
So anyway, so that is the only whip that I am actively working on besides gumballs.
Nice. Well, you should show this bag too.
Oh yeah, I should show this bag. So they are not yet on the website, and they may not be by the time the episode goes up because we'll walk.
But they'll be at Wool Walk.
But they'll be at Wool Walk, and they will be on the website after that. We found the most fun project bags from Emma Ball, who is the UK licensee of fabrics of prints by Janie Crow, who is a UK-based crochet designer. I hope you can see it. These prints, Seisha and I actually were both saying we both want to make this exact blanket.
Yeah, I totally want to be like.
I think this is called Persian tiles, and I love the colors. I love
pretty.
And the thing that's so fun about this is just two different. Like these are the same, and these are the same.
It's a hex,
and they well, the color combos too. Like so, you're making however many you're making. Like say 16 of tile A and 16 of tile B, and then the squares in between are also, they're really similar to each other, so it's got a very cohesive design, but it's still got enough going on to be interesting. It's like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's just perfect. It's like one of my favorite things. So we've got zippered project bags like this. We've got drawstring project bags. Yeah. The zippered we have in this print and one other that's kind of indigo inspired. And they're all photographs of her crocheted Afghans, and they're just stunning. They really are. So it's nice. It's like being able to like bring that little bit of crochet with you everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is not part of it. This is actually one of the things that you may find in our little trinkets bin. If you get one of those gumballs.
Yeah.
Since I was building it, I'm like, okay, I will take one.
Yes.
I will take one.
That's fine.
It's the tax, right?
That's good.
So that is what I'm working on. This is Janie Crow. We've got a lot of stitch markers too. We'll see.
We'll talk more about it on a future, but I just
episode.
wanted to like.
I know
it's so cute.
They're so pretty. They're so pretty. And of the drawstrings, we have 3 prints.
Oh, nice.
And one of them is by somebody else. Yeah. So Emma Ball does license a bunch of different things. Oh, and we've got some greeting cards too. Which are so fun. So again, using these same prints and like one happy birthday, one just a pack of little notes that if you just want to like write a little note with a gift, but still have that crochet handmade touch. I love it.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
If you aren't
I had to resist not ordering like every single thing they made by them.
Sometimes it's really hard when you're we're
When you
shopping
find
for the
something new,
store,
when you
and
find-
you're like, I want them all.
I want all of it. But what we do, like, you know, we do what we do with this. We test it out. I don't know, like 20 products basically,
Yeah.
probably
Do a
between
little
the
test run.
variations,
If it
all the
does
different
well.
things. And if it does well, we'll add more.
Yeah.
So it's up to you guys.
That's fun. I am about to have a whip turn into a finished object as we speak.
All right.
As I'm winding the last of the stack.
Oh my goodness, really?
I'm fast.
We might need to get a smaller container, or I guess it's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that was all of the.
That was all of them. And oh my god, of course that one is like being a pain in the neck.
That's so fun.
Finished objects!
Yay.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Alright, now I can talk about my whips. Now I have a finished object.
Oh no!
Did one come undone?
Some of the bottom ones are coming undone.
Oh,
They weren't tucked
they
appropriately.
weren't tucked.
I did tuck them, but
Find
not
that
well
yellow.
enough.
There's that yellow one that's coming on. Oh my god, it's literally coming undone as we speak. Please, little
And
guys.
I reused like some of the yarn that was already cut, so
Yeah.
some of them, it's like sometimes it works with one thing, but then it's hard to make it work the next time. You know what I mean?
finish these guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
No problem.
Well, what?
Okay, and now I'm back, and I'm going to tell you about my projects. First, I'll tell you what I'm wearing today. This is my summer-spring sweater that I finished last year. Was it last year? Yeah, I think so. Yes, it definitely was last year because I finished it while I was in Paris. This is made with La Bien-Aimée, the cashmerino plus the silk mohair silk by La Bien-Aimée, in the colors Jasper for the silk mohair and Glacier for the cashmerino. And the pattern is Flower Buds by Astrid Troland. So it's knit in two pieces, a front and a back, and it has a really cute little pattern on it, and then these cute little eyelets and a twisted rib. This was in Lina magazine, I think number 8, but it's available now on Ravelry, always linked below as usual. And why I'm really cutting in, of course, is to give you an update on my 24 birds, because I feel like everything else can wait till next week. I'm not going to give you socks or sweater updates because they haven't progressed that much since we've been in the middle of travel and just a lot of spring break stuff. I've really focused on keeping up with the knit-along, with the 24 birds knit-along, and I am mostly caught up, not entirely. I'm about 60% of the way through the clue for this week, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'll catch up over the weekend because Chad's actually going to visit a friend, and I'll have some quiet time, which is something I haven't had in a very long time, and I'll spend it knitting. Yay! So if you are knitting along and you don't want to have any spoilers, although like I said, I'm a little bit behind from what's already been released, but if you're still knitting along and maybe are still on week 1 or 2 and don't want to see what's coming up, then you can jump ahead to this time stamp here. But if you do want to see, continue watching. All right, so here's and it's not on purl strings, but I'll try to show you. Here's my 24 birds. That's, and 24 birds, like I mentioned last time, is a pie shawl. That means it's done in a circle. It's pi like the Greek letter pi, and that's because increases for pie shawls use that ratio for when to increase. So pi, the formula for the circumference of a circle is pi d, which is pi times the diameter. So every time the diameter doubles, the circumference doubles. So that means every time the circumference doubles from the center, you double the number of stitches. So that's how all pie shawls are pretty much, for the most part, that's how pie shawls work. That's also, you can do sweater yokes that way too. Elizabeth Zimmerman uses that method for her sweater yokes, but that's how this pie shawl is done. So that's the beginning. And we have 3 colors. So this is weeks 1 and 2. Get into this fadey stuff. right? And this is all, again, La Bien-Aimée Cashmerino. So this is Glacier, the same color as my sweater that I'm wearing today. Then we have Nymeria, which is this neutrals here, and then Dusk, which is the pink. And I tried to keep them all the same tone, and I think they blend really nicely. And then there's a pop of color, and this is Winterfell at dark, dark blue. And now we're getting into the birds. So you can start to see some wings. These are some end of wings. So it's called 24 birds because there's 24 sections right now, and each section has a bird. I think that this part here is a bird body. I saw someone else's, and I think that's what this is right there. But we'll see when this section is done. So this whole section is going to be in this Winterfell color and finish the birds. This is, I think, one of the biggest clues of this whole pattern. It's a good, I think, 23% of the whole pattern, because the way that Helen Stewart writes patterns, it's row for row, although this one does have charts, so I'm actually using the chart, but it's also written out in words in a chart, like in a table, and you can check off each row as you do it. That is standard across all of Helen Stewart's patterns, and one reason people love her, because it's very easy to keep track of where you are. She makes it easy. And she also adds in the last column of the table the percentage that you're done with the pattern. So it's like a little highway marker. 10% done, 15% done, 20% done, 25%. And so we know that this section of this week is 23% of the pattern. That's almost a quarter. So it was quite a lot of knitting. I'm not mad at myself for not being done, but I will get done over the weekend and get well into next week's clue, because I do want to stay on track with this one. But that's all, and I'll send you back to Kathleen and Jen for the rest of their whips, or whatever is coming next.
Well, what other whips do you have?
So I only brought one thing with me on vacation, knowing that I wasn't really going to have time to do a lot.
And was it really 90 degrees most of the time?
Yes.
Oh, see,
it was, I would say high 80s. To one day was 90s, and it was sunny because it's Florida.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I forgot how hot things can be. There we go. Now we're done. So I brought my Magnolia Socks, and I did the toe, finished the toe on the plain of my Magnolia Sock by Helen Stewart, and this is in
color
wheel yarn. So I finished one toe, and that sock was done, and then I cast on with the what do you call it, slipknot cast on, which took forever. And I did the twisted ribbing and one repeat of the lace, and that's literally as far as I got. So working on these are good, they're a good backup. The nice thing was, on the plane, one of the planes had entertainment, so I was able to watch something while I was doing it, and the other one they didn't have entertainment in the seat, they didn't have the screen in the seat, but they had a little thing where you could hold your iPad or you could hold your phone, which was perfect for my note card charts
for your lace,
for my lace, because I just popped it right there, and I was like, woohoo, done. Then I fell asleep. I was really tired.
That must have been on the way home.
That was on the way home. That was on the way home.
Sense,
and then the thing that I had been working on at home.
Yes.
That's different. Let me close up the little travel scissors. There we go. Is my Eva Cardigan by PetiteKnit, which is the sweater class. We had our sweater class next to last. And so here we do. I can't remember if I had finished the body last time.
I think you had, yeah.
Oh, I'd finished the body, and I was working on sleeves.
Yep.
So I finished the sleeves, thank God, which that's really where I get hung up on. And then I started the button band, the vertical knit button band. I added a vertical knit button band to this instead of the regular horizontal button band, and it's so pretty.
So pretty.
It's so pretty. So vertical knit button bands cast on with a tubular cast on, or if tubular cast ons are your kryptonite, you can use an alternating cable cast on because it looks like a tubular. It's totally fine. And then double knitting and did the buttonholes, which were a pain in the neck, but they look really pretty. Mm-hmm. So
pretty.
Yeah, there was a lot of cutting of yarn for the buttonholes at first, and then I did a little bit of research and found a way that I don't know if I 100% would recommend to do it without cutting the yarn, because it is a little fiddly and did require a little zhuzhang, but I think it's okay. So we'll see.
It looks so good.
But it looks really nice, and I've gotten to past the back neck. So I'm down
past the midpoint. Yeah.
Past the midpoint. I'm down on the other side, and it's actually, I would say it's less than the midpoint because I don't have to stop and do the buttonholes. I was like,
exactly.
I really gotta get past.
It made sense to do the buttonholes first.
These buttonholes.
Yeah.
That's
get them out of the way.
The stitch markers are on there to mark the buttonholes. So I'm almost done, which is good because our last class is coming up this Sunday.
Wow.
And yeah.
I saw that somebody in your class ordered exactly the same yarn as you're using.
I do like this combo.
Yeah.
It's a really nice combo. And it was funny, someone in the class was like, did you really only use 3 skeins of the Wool Cycle Sport? And I was like, oh no, I'm just a terrible record keeper. Sorry. I don't don't go by what I say in the I did update it. I was like, I don't know, I have a bad tendency to play yarn chicken with these things. But I'm like, I can do it in 3 skeins. No, I can't. Why would I think that? Why?
Well, and it's funny.
And so I picked up a fourth before.
I tend to put in, like, what I put in Ravelry is like whatever I bought for something, and then including a buffer, and then I don't correct it necessarily on the other side. So
you're like, I got 10 skeins, and you're like, I only used 8.
And I returned 2, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I am the reverse, where if I put in quantities, it's more like, can I get this in 5? No, I can't. It calls for 8. So at the very least, why do you think you could get it in 5?
Yeah.
And as I was saying, I was like, however, I have the keys to the store.
Yes,
so
you can pop by anytime.
It's really easy for me to get another skein of yarn.
For sure.
But yeah, so although the button band is taking a while to do, just because it's, a 10, so it's a 10 stitch wide double knit button band, which means I'm working over 21 stitches.
Wow.
So it's knit 1, slip 1, the whole way back and forth. There's a lot of turning, but I have to say it's going, and I'm doing it on 1s. Because you want to do it nice and dense.
Yeah.
But I have to say it's going a little bit faster than I originally anticipated, which is good. Cool. So, very good. But then I'm going to be in the stage where I'm like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's my next project?
Maybe we need to think about some spring sweater class options.
We do need to think about some spring sweater class options because I don't know. And that's why I was like, maybe a love note.
Right.
Maybe something else. I have a bunch of sweater stuff saved in Ravelry. I just have to look through
and actually we have some new yarns too, so we should definitely look at, maybe look to that for inspiration on what would be good to do.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the new yarns because we have like the Skipper cotton coming in from Kelborn, which is nice, and then also. Well, we should talk about what's new in store because this is one that I was looking at too.
We should talk about what is a good transition to new in store.
So new in store is we got a big shipment of La Bien-Aimée in, including a new yarn base for us, Kumo, which is 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. 328 yards for 50 grams, and it is so pretty. It's like a little kitten.
Yeah, it's so pretty and soft.
It's gorgeous, and I was like, ooh, maybe something in that. I mean, look at how pretty. I love dusk. Dusk is one of my favorite colors.
You know what? I'm glad we went with this, but it kind of surprised me how much I love it. Peanut butter and jelly.
Yes, it's so pretty.
Kim was walking around carrying all of it.
Like just being like, draping it over her.
Am I taking this home?
And then
This all coming
lichen.
home with
I love the lichen. Like this soft greeny blue. So pretty. And of course, well, this is kind of the Sanho.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar. It's like the blue version of the peanut butter and jelly.
It is, and it's a lot like Tidal Sands too.
Yes.
That's one of their really good colors, and we just try not to have exactly the same color in all the same bases. Though there are some like Flora Morganite,
Can't
which
not get
you can't not get Flora Morganite, Yellow Brick Road.
Yes.
Can't not get Yellow Brick Road. We did get a couple of neutrals, Avoine, which we love from Corey Worsted.
This beautiful stone.
Yep,
It's like
that's become our kind of standard for that
great
mid gray.
It's a great gray.
This was a new one for us, Pretty in Pink. Isn't
I
that so
love
pretty?
that. I think that's
Yeah.
going to pair so nicely with so many things.
Yeah, just to give it that little hint of pink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not like a mohair person, Kumo is a really great option as like just to get that like fluffy haze and drape like a
Yep.
shawl, and this would be gorgeous.
Yep. Oh, the punked shawl would be
Oh.
really fun.
That would be so pretty.
That'd be fun. I
That
know.
would be
I
so
still,
pretty.
I may,
I do love the
maybe I'll do that
Morganite.
next.
The Flora Morganite is so pretty.
Yep, and the hotness.
And the
Did I
hotness.
pick up the? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Flora Morganite's a little more peachy, and the hotness
can
is
really
more of
see
a.
The comparison, and
Like
actually they would go
neon-y.
really nicely together.
They would
Like
like
a nice
super
tonal-
subtle, low contrast.
A tonal bright.
Yes.
Yeah, so we love this. So this is new in store. We have it.
It is on the website.
It's on the
Already.
website. We have it in store, obviously. We also restocked. What did we restock? We restocked socks.
Pretty much everything, because like
Yeah.
the main thing we did this time was bring in Kumo. Sadly, they did not have mohair silk available to ship, so we weren't able to restock that. But we still have pretty good
But we will
stock
next time.
on. Yeah, we will next
We
time.
still have a bunch of mohair silk.
We do. We
We
just
have merino DK.
we restocked some colors of merino DK. We restocked our springtime at Yarnia in
Yes.
both super sock and merino DK.
Yes.
We know a lot of wool walkers, especially as well as others. You know, as they go around to stores, it's like, oh, what's special here? What can I get here that I can't get anywhere else? And
exclusive color right
definitely springtime at Yarnia is one of those.
Yeah, and it's a really, that's what I'm doing my sweater in, a combination of Madeline Tosh Wool Cycle Sport in paper
Yeah.
and the Silk Mohair Springtime at Yarnia from LBA.
Mhm.
And it's a really nice, like neutral with a little, like some really subtle pops of color. But yeah, so we have the Kumo, we have the Merino Boucle.
Yes, we did restock merino boucle. That was one we got.
That was the one, and
got a few
we have
of.
Cashmerino as well
Yep.
for bases. So
And Wensley as well. We were low on a few colors of Wensley, so it was mostly like a fill-in things that we were
A
low
fill-in
on.
and a new.
And you had Kumo. So.
I mean, the Kumo is so pretty. It is so soft.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And it just has beautiful drape and like such gorgeous, like soft but like bright colors.
Mhm.
So that's new in store. So what's our what was our question?
Yes, we
from
talked
last
about our
week.
question and our winner from last week. So last week, our question was, what do you look forward to in the spring, or last time?
That's good.
And the prize is one ball of the Juniper Moon Farm Cotton Plus Merino,
That's a great yarn.
which comes in like 12 colors. Actually, somebody who watched us last time ordered enough to do a temperature blind in the cotton merino.
Oh
So
my
that
god,
would
that's gonna be
amazing.
so nice.
It's such a pretty yarn. It really is.
That is gonna be so nice.
So, our winner,
Mhm.
and actually there's somebody standing right outside talking on the phone,
The prize last week was for last week's question.
was
Cotton
a ball
merino.
of Juniper Moon Farm Cotton Plus Merino. So nice and
Pretty.
squishy. It is 70% cotton, 30% merino. I've got the, actually, do they have the colors? They do. Mimosa, which I don't get this as mimosa, because I guess
Like
the
a
drink, but it's still a little yellow. I don't
It
know.
is a little yellow.
And
Or maybe
kumquat.
like the mimosa flower.
Those are pink. That's what I was thinking initially, but they're light pink. One of my friends from high school had one in her front yard.
Interesting.
And then we got the blue green over here on Jen's side. We have Bubble Mint,
I
like
love that
toothpaste,
name.
and Chambray. So many nice colors of this. So our winner, who gets to pick a skein of whatever color they like from what we have in stock at the time, is Susan Magnus, 89 and 82, who said she really looks forward to getting the gardens ready for planting and the porch ready for summer knitting. I loved how many
Love
people
that.
were talking about like knitting outdoors, which
Yes.
definitely that is a highlight of spring for me as well.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
need
sure
to get
for you
I need
as
to
well.
get my porch ready for summer knitting. We have a porch swing, and I'm like, I gotta drag my children to wipe it down, so I can kick back and relax. That's why we have children, to clean the porch poorly, I might add. So what do you think for the question this week? Because what's our prize for this week?
So I think for this week we should do a skein of Kumo.
Absolutely, a skein of Kumo, choice of color.
Yep.
And question, what about what's your suggestion for a summer sweater class?
Yes.
Whether pattern
Or
or
just like what you'd like to see in it.
what would you like, what kind of attributes would you like in a summer sweater?
Yes.
I
like that.
Yeah.
I know. I need to look through my queue and see if there's anything that's kind of calling to me right now.
Yeah. I feel like
but
that's always, like, I just need some time to, like, sit and scroll.
Yeah.
And look through my queue to see what I've saved, what patterns I have, if I
I feel like
had
that's such
some
a
brilliant
good like
idea.
late night activity.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
just like that's one of those.
Go down that rabbit hole at like
And
10:30.
set an alarm so you don't spend too many hours doing it.
I know, but then you're like, but just one more,
Just one more page, right? I know.
Again.
And then I go to bed at 1:30.
How many jobs do I have open now? 200? Not a problem. Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine. Well, we should hop to our opinions section.
We should. So, we had actually 2 comments from episode 110, which was the one where we originally. Oh, I just thought of something.
What?
We never said what episode number
Oh,
is.
crud.
And you know what? So here's my hint. It's a good number.
All right, so we're in
It's
the 120s.
It's kind of a round number, but not really.
125.
Yes.
Oh.
Good. That was a good.
That is a good hit. It is like a round number. That's like when my
it's almost like a milestone, like 100, but
it totally
obviously
is.
100 is a round number, where 125 is not a round
Well,
number.
it's funny. My brother and I got married the same year, and his logic was like, "Well, I have to get married like in 2005." He's like, "I have to get married this year, otherwise, how am I going to know how many years I've been married?" I'm like, it's either got to be the 00s or the 5s.
Well, we were saying that in our
5s or
family,
10s.
like the only people I know their birth year, aside from my mom who just turned 84.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, happy birthday, Mom! Is Irene and me and Haley, because we were born in 0 years.
Yeah.
So it's super easy. It's like,
75, so I'm like, I can usually figure out my birthday.
yeah, zeros and 5s. It makes it so much easier.
Round number, I can count by 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what is our opinions question?
So our hashtag opinion question, which a couple of people asked, and I kind of combined them into one, is what is the best yoke or sleeve style for people with larger people or women with a big bust? Like what's flattering, what fits well, all of that. So I will defer to you to start because I know you have many opinions on this.
Opinions on this. Okay, so I think the first thing to think about is, what do you mean by flattering? Right? Because certain style, like, do you mean, like, I'm wearing a very oversized sweater here, and, like, that's a specific look. A fitted look is another specific look. Like, a traditional fit sweater is a fitted look. An oversized sweater is a fitted look, right? I'm very much on the idea that if something fits in the shoulders, like, fits you nicely through the shoulders and isn't, like, even if it's oversized, like, your shoulder seam isn't coming down to here, or it's not, like, choking you up here. If something fits there, it's going to look like it fits wherever, no matter how much ease you have. I mean, within reason, right? But if something fits you comfortably through the shoulders, it's going to look appropriate, right? But everybody's
It's going to look like you made a choice that fits you, not that you're wearing somebody else's clothes.
Exactly. But also you got to think about, like, what is, like, do you want an exaggerated look? Do you want a classically tailored look? Do you want a fitted look? Because everybody's version of flattering is different, and sometimes, and like, what's in style, like fashion forward versus classic, can be different. So, like, if you think about what you want to fit and how you want it to look, that's one, right? Like, because I'm not necessarily one, like, if what I think might be flattering to me, you might think is, not flattering to you, or maybe you don't care about being flattering, right? Like you just want something that's comfortable and interesting, right? It doesn't traditionally I feel like flattering means looking smaller. Which is something that I think is a good idea to try to get away from, right? And flattering can be whatever you want it to be, how you want it to look, right? Matching your image that you have in your head.
So I think in some ways I'm kind of getting back to it looks like something like you're wearing your own clothes. Like to me that is encompassed in the idea of it being flattering. That it doesn't look like you just kind of grab something that somebody left lying on your floor.
Right. You're wearing something that makes you comfortable and makes you happy.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't love hugely oversized things. I like somewhat oversized things.
Yeah.
But, and I know one thing that you really don't love is you do not love a drop shoulder.
I hate a drop shoulder.
Though I definitely see that in some things, but I feel like for something like this
is fine.
This is it. And also one of the reasons I think it works is that it's the same color. It is not at all exaggerated. You almost don't even notice that this is a drop shoulder.
It's just the way
I think like the kind of really 80s and like retro, pulling back to that era style where there's a very obvious line. Horizontal line that makes people broader than they are. Yeah. That to me does not look flattering on most people.
Yeah. And the thing that I don't like about a drop shoulder, especially an exaggerated drop shoulder, is that in order for them to fit properly, it does need to be slightly oversized. And so I see a lot of poorly fitting drop shoulder garments, and I see a lot of poorly graded drop shoulder garments. Like drop shoulder garments, when you get to a larger chest size, bust size, upper bust size, full bust size, you end up with, in order to get an armhole that works, that you can function with, you end up with a shoulder seam down to here.
Yeah, practically at your elbow.
Right? At your elbow, which is fine if that's the look that you're going for, but I hate all of that fabric underneath. Even with a modified drop where the drop shoulder is set into the body a little bit, I still feel like it's I don't want to say it's unflattering, but I don't like that look for me. Do I think it looks cute on others? Totally. Do I think that you see a drop shoulder on somebody who is of a smaller circumference? Like oftentimes the drop hits just below the shoulder. Right? And that's still a properly fitting drop, but it's just the nature of the garment. It's a big T. Right? Drop shoulder is a big T. Yeah. So, I mean, my preference is also I also see, if I'm scrolling through Ravelry or whatever, I see a lot of folks who are unhappy with looking at project pages, who are unhappy with the fit of their garment, and 9 times out of 10, it's because they've chosen too large of a size.
They did not make the right size, yeah.
Whether it's they didn't make the right size, or they didn't do a gauge swatch, or they did a gauge swatch but the gauge lied to them, which is entirely possible. Or they just picked a larger size thinking a bigger size is going to be more comfortable. And that goes again to your shoulders fitting. Right? And
I think that is such a great tip, and definitely, Jen, say it again for those in the back. No, because really, people often pick the wrong size.
People pick the wrong size.
Pick a size that's too big.
They think, oh, but I'm going to want it to be loose. I'm like, okay, but pick the right size, and then you make
have ease within that. But don't just pick a bigger size.
Don't pick a bigger size just to pick a bigger size. And this is the thing, especially if you have a big bust, right? Don't pick a bigger size based on your full bust. You should, in my mind, always pick a size based on your upper bust. And then if you need to accommodate with more room for your full bust, you accommodate for more room with your full bust. So if you're picking, my upper bust is, I think, 41 inches, and my full bust is either 44 or 45. I can't remember off the top of my head, right? If I pick a size that's 41 inches here, that's more appropriate for my bone structure. And that's more appropriate. That will fit in my shoulders, whether it's a round yoke in a well-designed pattern, right? A round yoke, a raglan, a set-in sleeve, a drop shoulder, a dolman, any of these sleeves. If I pick according to my upper bust, which is measured at your armpits, that will fit much better than if I picked the 45-inch size, right? And that's assuming that it's like a size to fit 45 inch. If I pick the 45 inch, my shoulders are going to be 4 inches too big, right? It's going to be, it's at least one size up.
Yeah. And the other thing I think that is important, kind of is related to what you said, is that your bones are not going to change. Like even as you gain weight, as you lose weight, when you're measuring your upper bust, it is much more about your bone structure, and that is why sweaters that I made many, many years ago still fit me. I can still wear them. They don't fit with the same ease, but because I made them based on that, they actually do still fit.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah. So
your shoulder points from here to here, it's basically where the joints of your shoulders fit into the ball and socket joint, like right here. That's your bone structure. That's not going to change no matter how
or not, certainly not much. I mean, it's not
big.
It's not possible.
Right?
It's not impossible to gain weight in that area as well.
This is the part that changes. But like if you're going from your shoulder joint to your shoulder joint, this fleshy part of you that'll change, shrink or grow or whatever.
And your back might too.
And your back might too.
But overall, percentage wise, there's going to be much less of a change there than
so pick
measuring
according
your
to that.
full bust. Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of different things about best yoke sleeve style for larger busts. Easiest to modify is, I think, a round yoke. Mostly because the way that round yokes are constructed is whether they're increases in a pie shape, like you're doing wedges, say from let's talk top down, right? But the same goes for bottom up. Top down, you can adjust that rate of increase pretty easily. Now, the thing to know about a round yoke is that you're fitting a circle over essentially a rectangle. So you need to add some short rows. You need to drop the front neck, raise the back neck. But if you think about in terms of going from a small circumference to a different larger circumference, if you need 2 extra inches around this dimension going all the way around your shoulders and your upper bust, you can add that in one row, like you change your rate of increase, right? That said, round yokes, this is a round yoke, you have to have a little bit of ease, a little bit of more fabric underneath. So that's kind of the look you're going for. I also think it's actually pretty easy to modify a set-in sleeve style garment because you can really knit to your measurements.
Yeah.
Like you have a measurement from here to here across your full bust. You have your shoulder to shoulder measurement here to here across your upper bust. So you're going from here to there and doing a curve, and then you go straight up. And then my trick for set-in sleeves, because I hate setting in a sleeve, is to do them top down by picking up stitches all the way around the arm side and then do short rows across like that. So I think set-in sleeve is probably, if you're talking in the most traditional form of flattering, it's the easiest to get fitted super correctly. Although it is a complicated pattern, a complicated thing, you can fit it to specific bodies more easily, and make modifications more easily once you know how to do it. I think a raglan is an easy one to work, but it can be hard to do because you only have this much space in your yoke, which is between 9 and 11 inches roundabout for most folks. And you have to get from a small circumference to a larger circumference. And then if you need additional width across the full bust, do a vertical dart.
Or shift where the armholes are. Is the other.
Yeah.
See, I feel like raglan is actually, well, I don't know. One thing I was thinking about with this question is like, what do I find flattering for me? One of my favorite sweaters is the Carbath. Yeah, I feel like that is flattering on so many people.
It's a nice diagonal line straight to your neck.
Yeah, it really is, and it doesn't. So basically, the sleeve just like flows over the shoulder.
Yeah,
there is no sleeve line at all, and having the angles come in that are pretty pronounced. I don't know. It just gives a nice line. I love that one.
Yeah.
but and I feel like a raglan is similar. I mean, obviously the lines don't quite meet in the middle. They come here, but it's again that like no hard horizontals. You've got like diagonals basically.
Yes.
More, and if you use the trick of shifting, fabric more toward the front with a raglan.
Yeah, stealing some of the fabric that you've created. My issue with the raglan is that, especially if you're talking on the larger bust size, is that your traditional rate of increase or decrease, right, if you're going bottom up, your traditional rate of increase is every other row, right? And then, so that makes a 45-degree angle. That will get you to a certain width in a certain yoke depth. But if you are larger than that, you need to make additional modifications. And so oftentimes you find patterns that are graded fine for the smaller sizes. And when you get to the larger sizes, their solution to that problem is to cast on 25 stitches for the underarm.
Yeah, that's not a good solution.
Sucks.
Yeah. That is not the way to do it.
So you need a compound raglan where the rate of increase on the sleeves is different than the rate of increase on the body, and it can get a little tricky. And you still sometimes run into, if you're on the larger bust size, you still run into an issue where you still don't have enough stitches when it comes time for the sleeve divide. So what do? Do you make the yoke longer? How do you modify that? My favorite way to modify it is to steel stum from the back, and then add in increases on the front side only, because in general, unless you're sitting very high up, like between your armhole divide and your full bust, on me, I've got this much, so I can just increase more there and create a vertical dart. But yeah, I like a set-in sleeve for the looks, the lines, with a really nicely fitting shoulder. I like a round yoke for the ease of modification. I just think it's easier to modify although you do sometimes have to deal with shifting patterns and whatnot. But yeah, and you like a raglan. Or like that modified Carbeth raglan. Yeah,
Carbeth basically is a type of raglan. You say it really it is. It's it just meets in the middle. It just, instead of
canted over.
Yeah.
Still hate a drop sleeve.
Yeah.
Hate it. Just
I definitely take, if you're at a loss, I would say definitely, and you're on the larger size and you want something that is. I love my Carbeth. I'm always looking to make another one.
Yeah,
I really am.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good one. And I do like a raglan. Like, I wear the...
the Felix.
I wear the Felix all the time.
Well, one thing I really feel like I learned from you with, doing one of my many Felixes is not to, pick too big a size. It is so tempting. It really is. And the one that I love the most...
You're like, I want it roomy.
But the one that I love the most is the most slim fitting. And... for me, it's like, I am a larger person. I don't want additional fabric making me look even larger than I am. So, if that's what, no, exactly. No. Well, if anything, I really do feel like stuff like that. I forget which one I made that is, the one I gave to Haley who, is what, 125 pounds or something.
Yeah. Soaking wet.
But looks, loves this oversized.
Yeah.
It looks really cute on her. It's like, it is clear that, I don't know, it's just a different look.
Yeah.
It's a different look.
And that's how you got to start with, like, how do I want it to look?
How do you want it to look?
Right. How do I want to wear it?
That is
how
the
do
first
I want it
question.
to look? How do I want it to be?
But between the color and the fact that it was just way too big, it was like, no, pick the smaller size.
Pick the smaller size. Go by upper bust. Because you can always make, and like, that's the thing, you can have variable ease. You can have less ease through here than you do. I mean, this sweater is perfect because, like, I have a lot of ease up here, but I have a lot more ease down here than I have up here, right? So, and I'm fine with less ease through here, and then I like an A-line, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So you can have the reverse. You can have more ease through here and a slimmer waist, right? Depending on what you want it,
how you want it to fit. Exactly. Yeah. All right, so cool.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Make
sure to comment down below suggestions for summer sweaters and what you're looking for in like a warm weather situation.
Which that actually was a point. Some of our we're here in the Northeast. Spring really is a big change for us.
Yeah.
Some parts of the country.
Some of you have been in spring for months.
Well, some of you like spring is the coolest you get.
Yeah,
more or less,
that's
right?
true. Before the heat comes.
So that changes things too. So it's always good for us to think about. We're in our own little corner of the world here, but we love to hear about and think about what other people are doing as well.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And you can like and subscribe down below. Follow us online at Shop Yarnia, pretty much everywhere. And if you're doing Wool Walk, we hope you've had a good Wool Walk or having a good Wool Walk.
Yep,
and
definitely say hello if you come in. And and we will see you again soon. All right, take care.
Bye.